Everybody, welcome back to Who's Your Band. I am joined by my co-host, Sean Morton. How are you, Sean?
Oh, Jeffrey, just seeing your smiling face makes my day so much better.
How's the adjustment going? I mean, you moved from one place to another. You're setting everything up. Everything's going good with you?
Oh, yeah, my house is fantastic. You know, when you also move your mother a month later into her place, and, I'm a lot more agreeable. I'm a lot more quiet. I'm a lot more compliant.
Well, you look more jovial today. And speaking of jovial, okay, let's introduce our guest. This guy I find to be extremely interesting, and I think our listeners are going to love him. He is the co-owner of Stand Up New York. It's one of, I mean, if you've never been there, it's one of the more beautiful clubs in New York City. It really is set up really, really great.
Mm-hmm.
I used to love performing there.
Seinfeld disagrees with you.
We're gonna get into
He can
Seinfeld,
use some
okay?
spicing up.
And that golden voice, folks, that is Mr. Dani Zoldan. Dani, welcome to the show. How are you, sir?
I'm good. First of all, you're like my new favorite person because you pronounce my name right. I don't think that's ever happened before.
Trust me, you're the first guest he's ever said their name right.
I'm like shocked. Like even my dad would be like, "Have a good weekend, Danny," and I need to correct him.
No, it's Donnie. Well, the thing is, Donnie, I don't know if you've been following Donnie, but he has been all over the media. I've watched him on Fox News. I watched him on Channel 11 News. And this is a guy that is leading the fight to bring live stand-up comedy back. And Donnie, Sean and I are both stand-ups. We've been in the game for a number of years. And what you're doing is something that, listen, every comic should have their hat off to you. I mean, you're really doing a great service. I mean, you're taking the stand. So let me start with asking you this: what's going on with the city? What's going on with the state? Are they giving you guys any indication on opening?
No, nothing. And it's been almost a year now.
Yeah, no shit.
In 2 weeks, it'll be 1 year where we were shut down and we received absolutely no guidance whatsoever. We've only been told that comedy shows are legal, indoors and outdoors.
Illegal.
Illegal, yes. So we've just been told what we can't do. And every day, I mean, the governor has been announcing things that can open. Restaurants, obviously, originally 25% capacity. Now they can do 35% capacity. They were allowed to do outdoor, now indoor, now both. And then bowling alleys reopen, and then pool halls reopen. And now they announced movie theaters can reopen. So everything around us is opening, and still venues, music venues, comedy clubs still can't reopen. We can't even do outdoor. And again, we've received nothing from the city or state.
When you ask, well, first of all, who are you asking? Do you have lawyers that are contacting the city and state? Is it yourself? Is there a coalition of other comedy club and bar owners and venue owners? And when you do ask, what answers are you actually getting, or are you being completely ignored?
Yeah, I mean, the New York Hospitality Alliance, I mean, they've done a great job advocating for primarily restaurants and bars. So they've been the main lobby for New York restaurants and bars. Unfortunately, comedy clubs and music venues don't have an organized coalition, which I think should change because obviously we'll be more powerful if we fight this together. So everyone's just been fighting on their own and doing their own thing. I think it was the Creek and the Cave that were fighting Cuomo, and they got some type of response from him. I don't remember what it was, but at the end of the day, like, Cuomo still didn't allow them to do comedy shows. I've been writing to my local politicians, and I've been speaking to lawyers, and obviously I've been talking a lot in the media about what's going on. Cuomo knows, he's very familiar with the situation with venues, but unfortunately he's not addressing it, and I don't know why. Even like a conference call, with venue operators will go a long way.
When you went on, was it a Tucker Carlson or Hannity? You went on one of the shows I saw you on. Did that move the needle at all? Did you get a lot of support with that? Did that help at all?
No, I mean, it's interesting. The conservative media are mainly the ones covering this.
Right.
When I'm not a conservative. I consider myself very independent, and
You voted for Biden.
I voted for Biden. And it's sad again that the liberal media, NBC, CNN, they're not covering what's going on. We got a lot of press coverage on Fox and Newsmax, which I would never imagine I would be on Newsmax before, but I appreciate that they reached out, and I can say that they really do care about small businesses, and so does Fox. I haven't liked these networks for a long time, but I do appreciate their support.
How much does it burn you that the way that SNL has been able to kind of like dance around this whole issue of like they're able to have a live audience because they're paying their audience 100 members $150 each, so they become part of the cast, they become part of the show, and it's just semantics, like that's got to kill all you guys. It's got to kill you. It's got to kill Noam. It's got to kill Al Martin. It's a slap in the face.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't blame SNL directly. They're obviously not the root of the problem. It's really the politicians who just prohibited comedy shows and music shows and concerts from continuing. So I'm all for loopholes. As you know, like I've exploited every loophole imaginable since the spring. I mean, like you name it. When Cuomo announced that weddings were legal, we did 3 weddings disguised as comedy shows on Valentine's Day in the club. So, I mean, it's not SNL. They're not the issue. It's really the politicians just making it difficult for us to operate, for small businesses to operate, where they're in fact making it more dangerous because we're finding these loopholes, and we have to do shows, in not the most ideal conditions when we could do it safer in venues. We did a show last night in the last car of the 1 train. We've been doing that for the past 2 months.
How's that been going? One of our past guests perform on your shows. I know Vanessa has gone up and done a couple of those
Vanessa
videos.
Hollingshead?
Yeah. She's done a couple. How are those going? What's the reaction of the people? What are they telling you?
I mean, people, I think for the most part, the audience and comics enjoy it. I mean, because we've continued it every Saturday night for 2 months. It was really just like a dumb idea that I had a couple months ago when it got.
But at least you're thinking out of the box, Donnie. I mean, you really have on so many different levels. We'll get to that. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, when we stopped our park shows because of the weather and we couldn't do shows in the venue and we couldn't do shows on rooftops anymore, I don't know. I was like, why don't we do shows on the train? And we just did it once, and 15 people came out, and we had 6 comics, and we took the train from 72nd and Broadway down to South Ferry, and then we transferred and we came back up down to the Upper West Side, and comics enjoyed it, and the audience enjoyed it. So we just did it again and again, and it's great. It's very like a New York random like experience. Like you remember, like getting wasted on a Saturday night and you're like lost downtown just going like bar hopping. I mean, those are the best nights, right? So it felt like very New York, 15 to 20 strangers coming together, doing something a little weird. And, a lot of the audience brought, beer on the train, and
it's very Andy Kaufman-esque.
Yeah, I mean, we bring a mic and a speaker on the train, and a couple of times like the conductor would come out and take like a picture with the comics. It's fun.
I got a loophole for you. Here's what you do. You bring your speaker, you bring your microphone, you go to a Walmart or you go to a Target in the parking lot, right? You bring a riser to go outside. But what you do is you confiscate every single shopping cart. And if anybody wants to go inside the Walmart or Target, they got to sit down for either 5 minutes or pay $5 for the cart.
I like it.
I think it'll work.
Sean is a businessman. He knows what he's doing.
I think a lot of people get upset also.
I don't care.
Donnie, who's been more of a hindrance to you guys? Has it been de Blasio, Cuomo? Is it the city council? Who's really blocking this?
I think it's Cuomo. It's coming from the state. It's not de Blasio.
You know, oh my God, this is such a frustrating thing to be talking about. You know, I mean, I can only imagine the level of frustration that you and the other owners are going through.
Yeah, and I suppose, you know, I would love there to be more communication between like club owners. Al Morton reached out to me last week. You know, like we had a really nice like half-hour conversation about what's going on. I've been in touch with the stand guys recently. So I feel like, you know, lately I've found club owners communicating more than the past, which is nice to see.
What do you think of Cuomo's pop-up in New York pop-up shows and de Blasio's pay $20? You know, sure, you know about this. You pay $20 to perform on the street. Donnie? What do you think about these half-assed ideas?
I'm flattered. I mean, a lot of these ideas originated from me. You know,
But you weren't charging comics.
He announced that he's doing pop-up shows in courtyards and on the street and in train stations and parks. And I'm like, dude, like we've been doing that since June.
You know, it's like the Cuomo one it's like, yeah, we're bringing back the arts to New York, man. We're going to do these shows. We're not going to tell anybody where they are. Okay. They're going to last 20 minutes in duration. They're not going to even help the businesses around. And we're going to get like Chris Rock and Amy Schumer, you know, the people who really need the money. Okay, that's who we're going to wind up getting. And then de Blasio's idea is even fucking worse, where a comic would have to pay $20 to get a permit to be able to perform for 15 minutes on a street corner. It's asinine. How the fuck does this help the arts in New York?
I don't think it really helps anyone. It doesn't help the artist, obviously. You know, a lot of these celebrities don't need the money. And like, New Yorkers want just authentic entertainment. You know, they don't want like those dancers that we saw in that video that de Blasio published. Did you see that?
Yeah, dude. I mean,
most New Yorkers want to see venues reopen.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. There's snow around, and of course they did it like it's again. Everything is done halfway because you know they cut garbage collection 40% in New York, so there's still garbage on the street. I mean, it looked really great. Like that's what New Yorkers really need. Yeah,
I mean, I don't think anyone wants state-run programming. I just think, again, venues need to open and just let us do our thing and let us do it in a safe way. I'm all for doing things in a safe way. But again, no one wants like tap dancers like on the street.
It just makes no sense to me, because this is an industry where you can actually control everything. You can control the amount of people that are coming in. You have the ability to space out your tables. If you needed to put plexiglass up, I guarantee you would do that. You would put plexiglass around the table so nobody would be in each other's way. But you know what? If you want to drive to Walmart, I'm harping on this. If you want to drive to Walmart and spend an hour inside a friggin' cube, you know, this gigantic place where there's, you know, 30,000 friggin' mongrels, you know, fighting over goddamn toilet paper, it's totally okay to do that as long as you wear a mask. That's fine. But you know what? You can't sit down and hear a friggin' joke every once in a while and have a cocktail. It's the most insane friggin' thing that's going on right now. It really is.
Or you can go on an airplane. You know, I flew like 4 times last month, and every flight I was on was like packed elbow to elbow. Every seat was taken. They didn't do temperature checks beforehand. Like why can you do that, but you can't have 30 people in a room?
I think that's what's driving people crazy. And Sean, have you ever performed at QED in Queens?
No, I'm not in the city too much. No,
okay.
But I am at the Looney Bin March 13th on a Saturday night, 9 o'clock. If you want me to post that show,
I like your mug.
We're excited about that. The Looney Bin. The QED did their outdoor show perfectly. You know, they were socially distanced. People wore masks. In fact, Christian Finnegan, whose wife owns the club, Christian was sitting there cleaning the mics. Every time a comic went up, you got a new mic. You know, and there were bins, used mics, new mics, and he's sitting there cleaning them. It was perfect. There was no reason to shut that down. Donnie tried this earlier in the summer where it was on the back. They had like a pickup truck, right? And they had people distance, and you were shut down for that as well, correct?
Yep.
What
Correct.
again makes no sense.
No, I don't try to understand it anymore. You know, we're just going to continue fighting to reopen and just continue shows. I think just keeping entertainment going in the city is really important at this time, even if the venue is closed, because people are fleeing. You know, hundreds of thousands of people have left the city. Midtown is a ghost town. You know,
I wanted to ask you about that.
Sad.
What do you think this whole thing does to tourism in New York City? Can you see tourism coming back anytime soon? Like, you know, I mean, or are we like fucked for years?
I mean, I hope not. I just think the sooner everything opens, just the faster we'll come back.
You got to think, though, it's probably going to take a little while, because if you're living in the middle of, just say, South Carolina, right, in the sticks of South Carolina, and all your shit's closed down there, when that stuff opens, is your first thought to, hey, I want to go to New York City and take a picture with Elmo and go to a comedy show, or are you going to go and, you know, spend your money at your local places down there? I don't think tourism comes back till at least 2022.
Well, if you're coming from someplace else, Sean, you know, my question to you is, why are you coming to New York? I mean, when you come to New York for, like, say, a week's vacation, you're going to take in a Broadway show or two.
Sure.
You're going to the restaurants, and you're going to go to a comedy show, whether it's going to be uptown in a place like Stand Up New York, or downtown in a place like the Cellar, or you may do both, because, you know, and take in the museums during the day. If there's not a reason to bring people, you know, that for people to come into New York, it's you know, there is going to be no recovery, or it's going to be an unbelievably slow recovery, and the city's going to hemorrhage money, and who's going to carry the burden of it is the taxpayers.
You know, my fear is
like 2022.
Yeah. My fear is the vaccine comes out, you got to get like 75% of people get vaccinated, and which is a great thing. I'm actually very for the vaccine. You know, I'm not one of those.
I just got my second dose on Thursday.
How did you get that? Because you're elderly, or is it because I can't get an appointment for anywhere? I swear to Christ.
I'll text. Where are you located?
I'm in Jersey.
Okay, I can send you a link.
Okay.
I don't know if you know, you got to check it out because you're from Jersey. I don't know if you can use it, but I sent it to a few friends, and a few friends got vaccinated. I got vaccinated. You got
the second dose?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck both of you. How about that?
It knocked you out a little bit, right?
I have a third arm coming out of my rib.
Say it again?
I have a third arm. I grew a third arm.
Yeah. Listen, I know one of my friends is a cop, and I saw him, and he was like dragging ass, and he was like, let me tell you, we all, because in his squad, the whole squad went, and 9 out of the 10 called out the day after the second shot, because they were all just knocked to shit after that.
It messes you up for at least a day and a half. Another thing I wanted to bring up.
A day and a half, I was like out.
Yeah, another thing I wanted to bring up to you. You guys you and your business partner, was it James Altucher? Am I saying his last name correctly?
Altucher.
Altucher. Okay, you and James. It's easier for me to say. You and James got into a little thing with Seinfeld, Jerry Seinfeld. What's the story with that?
Yeah, I mean, James picked the fight originally, not me. Well, he didn't really pick the fight, but he just wrote an essay. New York City is dead forever, I think it was called.
Right.
And the Post republished it, and you know, it got a lot of attention all around the world, and a lot of people were attacking James, and a lot of comics were attacking him, you know. And then Seinfeld wrote an op-ed in the Times calling James a putz, and he was saying New York, you know, was going to come back and all of that. And then I punched back in the post.
I saw that.
Telling Seinfeld, like you're not in the city. Like we've been here. My family's been here. We never left. Like since March. Like because of the sanitation cuts. Like I was part of a group that picked up garbage on the streets of the Upper West Side a few days a week. So like we're actually here cleaning up the community, helping the city and putting on comedy shows when Seinfeld is
In the
sitting
Hamptons.
in the Hamptons, like, writing this dumb op-ed, like we'll be back. Like you're not doing anything, man.
It's all lip service. It's all words. It's all word salad. This is what we get from from the elite is really what is.
But I love James. He's a great friend, great business partner. And again, like the club, we've done I'm very proud of what we've done. Since the spring, just trying.
What have you done in the club actually?
I'm talking about just comedy wise. Like
yeah.
Shows. I mean, we have been sprucing up the club. I agree with Seinfeld there. It did need some sprucing up, but I'm proud of what we've done. Just keeping shows going, and a lot of New Yorkers wanted to see some type of entertainment during the summer and fall. Like there was nothing going on. They couldn't go to concerts. They couldn't go to movies. There's nothing.
You did the shows in the park. You did quite a few of them.
Yeah, we did. We did over 400 shows outdoors.
Yeah, and it wasn't just Central Park. You did it in about a bunch of different locations throughout the city, correct?
Yeah, we had 2 spots in Central Park. We were in Battery Park, McCarran Park, Prospect Park, Astoria Park. It was cool, and we're gonna do it again.
Yeah, I was gonna put in a Avails for that, but I'm fat and I sweat, so it doesn't really work for me.
But you know what? This is a guy that's paying comics.
No, I think it's great. Let me tell you,
I think all these comics owe you a debt, man.
Absolutely,
really. I mean, when people blow up, you're a guy that people have to pay it forward to a little bit. Speaking of paying it forward, have you received any federal stimulus money?
So we got first round of PPP. And thank God, we were able to pay employees. We're waiting for the SBA to open up applications for the Save Our Stages.
How long has that been out though already?
I mean, I think they passed the bill in December.
Why is it taking? Any reason why it's taking so long to be able to apply?
It's crazy. Like application is not open yet, and I'm sure venues have shuttered. Between December and now. I don't know what's going on there.
I have a theory, by the way. Yeah. My theory is they're going to make you guys wait long enough where they're going to start to open up, and they're going to say, you know what, you don't need the money so bad. And
you're probably spot on with that, Jeff.
No, it's a great deal. It's like 47% of your previous year revenue in a grant. So it's like a good amount of money, and it'll save a lot of venues. But we're just not getting much guidance from the SBA as to when it'll open. Right when they announced a program, we knew, you had to create a SAM.gov account. You needed to create a grants.gov account. You needed to get it done in Bradstreet number. And then a month later, they held, this webinar. They promoted this big webinar where they basically said the same thing. You need to create a SAM.gov account. You need to create a grants.gov account to receive the grant. So and then enough silence since then. That was probably 6 weeks ago.
And what I could see happening is especially with the Johnson & Johnson vaccine being approved this week, and they're going to start rolling that out on Monday. I think that there will be some type of herd immunity by the end of April. And I have a feeling by probably the second week in April, they'll make an announcement about when comedy clubs and bars and dance clubs could open up at a certain capacity. And then I think, you'll still get some type of money, but you won't get the full, what you would have gotten initially. You may get a third of it.
I don't think they're going to change the rules. I think, look, the 15 billion is already earmarked for venues, and they've already released how they're giving it out. So I don't think they're changing it. I just wish they just get that website up and running so venues can apply. I mean, if they change the rules, there's gonna there's gonna be venues storming the Capitol.
Well, do you put anything past them? Did you think
I
this
don't know.
would last over a year?
No.
No.
Yeah, I was telling my wife over the weekend, like it's been a year.
Oh God,
closed.
it's so.
It's been the longest
crazy.
7 years of my life. I'm not gonna lie.
2 weeks to flatten the curve, Sean. 2 weeks to flatten the curve.
Yeah.
Have you guys been doing? Have you guys been at least making money on streaming events?
I don't know. We stayed away from streaming and virtual shows. You hear my family in the background?
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I think it's just a matter of preference. I just wanted to focus on continuing just like live shows
Smart. It's very smart.
I don't know. I personally, I enjoy that more than like organizing a virtual show.
Yeah, I mean, I stayed away from them too. I mean, and I know Jeff is more of a grinder than I am, because like Jeff will go out and still do 2 and 3 and 4 spots a week in these places, but like I'm more of a road comic kind of guy. Yeah. So like my list,
Sean, I'm dropping from doing 12 to 13 spots a week to doing maybe 3-4 live spots a week, and then I'm doing Zoom shows the rest of the time.
Oh, trust me, the comedy world is very grateful for that. I'm not going to lie to you, but like for me though, it's like I did a weekend in Harrisburg and like a local show here in Jersey in November, and that was it. I did like 2 Zoom shows, and like I am so ready for the next for 2 weeks from now, because like I am just going to be spewing venom out of my. There's such a difference between doing these Zoom shows and just getting behind an actual mic, even if there's 2 fucking people in front of you, which is usually what Jeff performs to. But if there's
you beat me to that hack joke.
No, it's like you still need that personal connection, whether it's on a train, whether it's in a park, whether it's on a rooftop, a basement, fucking in a Walmart parking lot. I don't give a shit. You have to have that human, physical, and like just that eye connection to when you're in the audience, to the audience members and stuff like that.
It's a contact sport.
Oh, you're absolutely right. I mean,
coming off a little creepy, isn't he, Jeff?
I'm a total creep. I have no idea. We just see what I do with the microphone with this show in 2 weeks.
Intense physical connection.
But it's like,
have you ever done stand up?
Me, no.
No. Well, you've always just been a businessman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good answer. Thanks, Dani.
Yeah. Thanks for elaborating.
Yeah. No. Yes. Great.
It makes my job easier. What's this thing you're doing in Idaho? Is that real?
Yeah, actually, dude, I just had an 1.5-hour Zoom call. Just got off of right before this with.
Can you divulge? Can you break some news on the show?
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at end of May, the weekend before Memorial Day.
Okay.
That's what we're looking at. 3 days: Thursday, Friday, Saturday. The weekend before Memorial Day in Boise, Idaho Comedy Fest. And I mean, it came up as a joke,
That's what I thought, because when you say, "Hey, I was like, listen, if you're behind it, I would definitely do it." But then I was like, "This guy's fucking with everybody."
Start driving now, Jeff.
And then he's not fucking with us now. He's doing it.
No, yeah. I mean, I take pettiness like the next level. And
Is this based on with the Jake Flores thing or the Seth Simon thing?
Seth Simons, yeah. He fuels me.
I love it.
Like I'm grateful that he's in my life, because he fuels a lot of my creativity right now. And
what do you call him? The SS?
The SS, yeah. Jake Flores is Ava Braun.
Sean, do you know this piece of shit?
No.
See, I can say it. Dani won't say it because 1, Dani has class. 2, we don't want to get in trouble. Okay, but this is a guy who is a fucking troll.
Is this the guy that like is always on Twitter and he's constantly bashing?
Oh, he's
everybody?
A baby.
I don't know if a troll is the right word. Is that? He doesn't troll.
Oh, no, but
I'm a troll. Maybe you call me a troll.
You troll him. You troll him, and you poke him a lot.
Yeah. I'm good at like poking people.
this is the guy is like, Skank Fest, they have the terrible Louis C.K. Up on the show, and Ari Shaffir. It's like, shut up, man. It's like he's the first guy to call people a fascist, but he's also the first guy who wants to shut people down.
He's like the class like tattletale. He's a rat. Like, he's not a troll. He doesn't troll people. He's a tattletale and a rat. Like, when we did a Subway show last night. So and I tweeted a picture. So he tweeted that picture. Stand Up New York is doing unsafe shows on the train, and people weren't wearing masks. And
who does that help? Who does that help? Why do that?
I don't know. I think he's mentally ill. But again, like but in a way, I'm like grateful for him, because like I never thought about doing a comedy festival before. And like, he wrote something negative about, he's been writing some negative things about the club and me lately. So as a joke, I'm like, we're gonna do a comedy festival in your home state. And as a joke, I bought the domain name, like idahocomedyfest.com, and like I tweeted that. But then like comics just started like sending me their sets, like in DM. And I started getting emails like, hey, you're doing this? I'm from Idaho, I'm from Oregon, I'm from LA. And we got some big comics like wanting to perform. So, I called John, my booker. I'm like, dude, like, let's do this, And it's not about retaliating against the SS. I think a comedy festival will be freaking awesome. Like for comics haven't performed in a while. The weather is beautiful in May in Idaho. It'll be great for the people of Idaho, just to bring so many great comics there, and hopefully we can pump some money into the local economy there, and we'll get some like local, beer companies on board. It's gonna be awesome.
I'd say if you rent a private jet and fly me out, I would have no problem headlining one of the nights there.
Done. We'll go together.
Yeah, we can do that. We'll do the Friday. Because like, my Saturday's free. You know what I mean?
Okay.
All right, that works for me.
It's such a great idea, and if when this is over, you could send us the information, and we'll have Adam put up, on how people can either apply to be in it, or if they want to get tickets or anything we can do to kind of help push this forward.
Yeah, we should have the logo done like Tuesday or Wednesday this week. We should have a website up and running by next week. We have 3 venues already secured. We might do more than
beautiful
3 venues. We're talking about hotels blocking off rooms. Like I just turned 40. I'm like an old man, but I've been an entrepreneur since I'm 19, and I'm very good at getting things off the ground like quickly.
Awesome. Well, I saw in another interview you've been doing this like for a while, like 17, 19. Like you've been hustling like pretty much your whole adult life.
Yeah, since I'm 19. So I move like quickly on things.
Another guy, would you say this guy's a troll? The thing that happened between you and Jake Flores.
He's
a comic.
I don't know what he is. I think he's more of a troll. Again, like mentally ill. They're both mentally ill. Like, that's for sure. I think they're just both sick, and like I've offered to pay for like psychiatric evaluations, and I'll hang out with them. Like, I like everybody. Like, if Jake like wants to like come to the bar and have like lunch, I'll have lunch with him. I don't care. The problem with these people, they're living in an alternate universe online on the internet, and they'll never meet with you face.
Of course they are.
Oh, it's amazing.
They'll never chat with you directly on a podcast. They'll never do a video call. They'll never meet you in person. I tweeted at Jake last week, hey, let's hang today. I'll meet anybody. So real cowards.
And the thing is, Sean, since this has been going on, Dani goes to the club just about every day and does something, whether he's cleaning the floor, he cleans the toilets. I heard you say before. So let me ask you something. We're getting to the next portion of this interview right now. So when you're cleaning up in the club, what are you listening to?
Ooh.
Let's talk a little music.
So you might laugh, but my COVID artist, the artist that, don't make fun of me because I never heard of him before COVID, but he passed away of this virus, John Prine.
Oh, John Prine's been around for
I'm not gonna
50
make fun of
years.
you.
He's
That I thought
amazing.
I thought you were gonna tell someone shitty like
No,
Dave
no, no, no. He made
Matthews.
fun of me that I never heard of him before COVID.
A lot of people haven't. He was one of those guys
been
who's
around
had
forever.
he's had like a 50-year career, and like unless you were in the know, like in
Yeah.
country music and that alt rock kind of genre, you would never know who John Prine was, but he's very influential.
I mean, and unfortunately he passed away, I think back in the spring, but I'm
Yeah.
listening to him in the club. That was like spring, like March, April, May, like the first few months of COVID. I was listening to a lot of him.
How'd you discover him?
Maybe it's just news that he passed away. That might have been, I think that was probably it. I just heard that he passed away. Like, who is this guy? And I YouTubed, his music, and I loved it. Also, like Mark Knopfler, I've been listening to.
Oh my God! One of my all-time favorite guys. You crazy? He's amazing. Mark
But
Knopfler, best picking
COVID,
guitarist.
before COVID, I didn't listen to any of his stuff.
Really?
So spring, it was like Mark Knopfler, John Prine.
So before COVID, who did you listen to? Who were your bands?
Mumford and Sons.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I like them. I like them. You had that Mumford and Sons fan kind of look.
Okay.
You do. Like in
I
the
don't know
summer,
if that's
like
a
I always
compliment.
describe it as like in the summertime when you go see them at like Jones Beach and stuff. Like you're the kind of guy who wears like the flip flops that has like the beer can opener underneath the flip flop.
No.
Okay.
No, I do go see them in the summer.
They're a great band. I love them.
Jones, I think they make great music. Dave Matthews Band. Jeff, you don't like Dave Matthews?
No, because to me it's lawyer rock. I could. It's music like lawyers listen to on a casual Friday in the summertime. It's like, we'll wear our khakis on our open shirt and drink like ultras. No, man, I hate Dave Matthews. I respect his his musicianship.
I gotta tell you though, like I've listened to Dave Matthews for a long time. I've seen him in concert a bunch of times. I got friends, Chris and Christina, who I think I've seen him 120 something times. Like they met at a concert, like they got married because they met at the concert and stuff like that. And I've always been a fan until like, I think it wasn't last summer. It was summer before, like they had gotten they had won tickets and like they gave us like, their extra pair. And it was one of those shows where like they went so deep into their catalog that I knew 2 fucking songs at the concert, and I was like, all right, I think I'm gonna take a 3-year Dave Matthews break after this show, because like all the fans were like losing their shit because they're playing all these songs that no one's heard in 15 years, and I'm sitting there going,
what do you say?
Jeffrey, you don't like their music? I know you don't like their fans, but
No, I don't like their music.
Why?
Dave Matt, because I looked at. See, I asked when I contacted Danny, I asked him for like hey, who do you?
Now he pronounces my name wrong.
I know,
because you like fucking Dave Matthews Band. We were buddies before this. Now I don't know. Now we're drifting apart.
I can still redeem myself. I have a few other bands that you might like.
But I kind of get the feeling here you're into like some of this jam rock, like well, you got the Spin Doctors on there. They started off at least as a jam rock band. They were kind of like a Dave Matthews Band.
And I'm working on getting the singer on this show too, actually.
Chris Barron,
yeah.
Bare Naked Ladies is also kind of in fact, one of the last live shows I saw before COVID was that summer. I was doing shows out in Connecticut, and I was gonna leave on Sunday, and it's like, what's that? Hootie and the Blowfish and Bare Naked Ladies were playing in Connecticut, kind of like at their version of PNC. And I was like, I'll stay the extra night, come back on Monday. And I went to the show, and I've seen Bare Naked Ladies a couple times before. They're great every single time, man. They're a fun band.
Can I guess your favorite band?
My favorite? Yes, go ahead.
Your favorite musician, Bruce Springsteen.
No. Now,
Top 5.
who?
Top five or no?
No, he's not even in my top 10. No.
Who are some of your favorite bands?
Any band that you can watch a commercial at 4 o'clock in the morning for a Time Life best of
don't
the
listen to him.
70s fucking compilation.
He's so stupid. No, my favorite two bands, I can't decide which I like more. I like Black Sabbath and Iron Maiden. They're my two favorite bands. Then followed by, I like Zeppelin. I love The Cure. I like one of the bands you have down here. I like Pearl Jam. Sean's favorite band is Guns N' Roses, another band that's a Donnie band. Now we're back to Donnie. Okay. Yeah. Awesome shirt. And I also like Counting Crows, who you put down on here.
Yeah,
Counting
I've
Crows
been
are a
Counting
fun
Crows
band.
fan since I'm like eighth grade. I'm in eighth grade. Like I remember when August and Everything After came out.
Such a great album. Omaha is one of the best songs of the last 20 years, and it never gets any radio play.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Counting Crows, Donnie?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. A few times.
You did. Yeah, they're very, very good live.
Yeah.
I had
saw
Adam Duritz on my podcast.
Did you?
Say again?
I had Adam Duritz on my podcast.
Get out of here. How did that go?
It was awesome. Check it out on YouTube. It was like an hour-long conversation. I had like 20 people in the audience asking the questions. He went deep. He was talking about like Judaism and spirituality, and we didn't talk about music a lot, which is pretty cool.
He's Jewish, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, he was also quite a ladies' man, in right? Didn't he like? He
Dated
up everybody.
And Courtney Cox. Yeah.
When he came out, there was a lot of comparisons between his vocal styles to Van Morrison.
Is that a
I can
question?
see that, but
Do you see it? No, you don't see it.
a little bit.
I think one of the best songs that Counting Crows has. I love "Round Here." I think "Round Here." I think "Rain King."
Have you heard of Murder of One? Have you heard of that?
Mm-hmm.
I heard of.
It's probably my
I don't.
favorite Counting Crows song. It's called Murder of One.
It's good, huh?
Excellent. Sean, who are your favorite bands?
Well, you're wearing the shirt, number one.
What's your favorite GNR song?
All right, my favorite song is "Out to Get Me." I think because that is the, people always like, "Oh, Sweet Child of Mine," "Welcome to the Jungle." No, I think if you listen to that first album, it's not the best song on the album, but I think it's the most important song on that album because that's.
Why do you think it's the most important song?
Because that was their epitome of their vibe from that first album. Like I go deep, like I've been collecting bootlegs of them since I'm 13 years old. And that's the song that always stands out when you see them live. So like when they came around doing the whole stadium tour a couple of years ago, I saw them like 7 times in like 5 weeks. It was fucking ridiculous. It was like 6 mortgage payments. It was insane, but they were doing "Out to Get Me," and I would lose my shit every time. And the next round of shows, they took it out because Glenn Campbell died, and they were doing a cover of "Wichita Lineman," and I would get so enraged watching them do this song because I'm like, first of all, do "Rhinestone Cowboy" for Christ's sake if you're gonna do a Glenn Campbell song.
No, "Wichita Lineman." It's
fucking horrible. Listening Axl with his fat bloated voice singing that.
Oh, it's a great song.
I think the
Estranged.
Estranged is amazing. I think I like Estranged actually better than November Rain personally.
Yeah, me too. I like Estranged.
But I think
Don't Cry for the illusion.
Oh, Don't Cry is amazing. I think their most underrated song is a song called "Don't Damn Me," which is on Use Your Illusion 1. I think it's the best lyrics Axl ever wrote.
Which one?
"Don't Damn Me."
You like it better than "Civil War"?
"Civil War" is a great song. Here's my thing with Guns N' Roses. I felt like it was Axl's ego that took over during Illusion 1 and Illusion 2. And I think if you took 7 songs off of Use Your Illusion 2 and like 8 off of Illusion 1, you put them together and you make one of the greatest rock albums of all time. But I think there's a lot of filler on both of the albums, which kind of diminishes it a little bit. But I do know from very reliable sources, and I would never say this if I wasn't 100% sure of this, they are in the studio right now recording a new album.
Well, they're coming back around this summer. The shows that were postponed from last year are all being rescheduled now. I had tickets to see them, and we just got notification August 5th.
Yep.
At MetLife. They're back. So
And
Guns
there's
N'
a big,
Roses.
yeah, Guns N' Roses at MetLife. Yeah.
yeah,
So there's a big rumor that they're actually going to be debuting a new song on the tour this summer.
well, that
So
would make
that's
sense.
Anyone like Alice in Chains? I didn't mention them in my email, but I really
Yes, absolutely.
great band.
did. I
Great
get you
band.
back on my side after Dave Matthews Band a little?
Absolutely. I mean, are you kidding me? Alice in Chains.
I like Alice in Chains.
I mean, is there a better opening bass line to a song than Wood? I mean, it just sets the tone of what the whole thing is going to be about. And we had one of the best bass players in the world on last week. We had Billy Sheehan on the show, and even he would have told you, man, the opening riff of Wood isn't sick. It's sick.
I love, Don't Follow. That's probably my favorite.
Nice and slow from Jar of Flies.
Yeah.
No, that's on Sap, I think. Don't follow.
I think Jar of Flies.
Is it?
Yeah. Beautiful song.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing: the scary thing about Alice in Chains now is the new singer has been in the band longer than Lane Staley was now.
You know, I saw them at the Beacon Theater probably 3 or 4 years ago.
I saw them at the Bowery Ballroom when Black Gives Way to Blue came out, and my friend's band opened up for them. And I, seeing Alice in Chains in a less than 1,000 seats at the Bowery, at the old Bowery Ballroom, it was so just amazing. Just
Band, have you heard of Larkin Poe?
Yes.
Excellent. Jeffrey, you heard of that?
What are they called?
Larkin Poe.
Larkin
No.
Poe.
No.
Excellent.
Yeah, they're kind of like folk, kind of like a little heavier folk rock.
Like Southern rock, yeah. They were on my podcast also a couple years ago.
Really?
They really blown up. They're amazing.
Are you guys, please tell, and I hope the answer to this is no. Are you guys like Lumineers fans?
I like the one song.
No, you cannot. That Hey song?
Yeah.
Fuck, what the hell, man? How are we doing a show together?
I listened to them a few years ago, but not anymore.
I saw them open up. Do you know, Dani, do you know the comic Alan Fuchs?
I know the name. Sounds familiar.
Yeah, Alan and I went to go see them over at MetLife. We went to go see U2. Opening act, it was the Lumineers, and he likes the Lumineers, so I had to sit through it. And I mean, I tried to give it an on the shot. I mean, it was absolutely terrible. I hated it. It really was agony. And thank God U2 was amazing. They did the whole Joshua Tree album.
That's a great one.
Which I think is their best.
I might lose you again, but my all-time favorite band probably is Oasis.
Dude,
another band.
No, now I love you again.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, are you nuts?
Another band who was
God.
greatly rumored to be coming back together.
I follow them.
With no Liam though.
No, but there's a great rumor now coming around. I don't know if you saw that Liam Gallagher. Or Noel Gallagher actually tweeted out to his brother and says, "Look, it's time to put the shit aside and get the boys back together." So you might be seeing something.
That's a band I'd go see, and
I've seen them before, man.
Oh my God!
You seen them, Donnie?
Oh, like 50 times. Amazing.
Oh,
yeah, they're a great live band. Great live
band. Oh my God! I don't know if there's anyone I've seen better than them live.
I've seen Noel perform with his, what was the band called? Angry Birds or something?
High flying birds.
Yeah, something like that. But I seen, and he sings all the songs, and it's great. But it's still not Oasis.
It's different.
You remember MTV Unplugged with just Noel?
Oh yeah, because Liam had a sore throat, and he was sitting up there smoking and drinking.
I thought he was incredible.
Yeah,
he's great.
He was put on the spot that night. He was really put on the spot that night. He pulled it off amazing.
He's a great songwriter. I Don't Look Back in Anger, Wonderwall. I mean,
the master plan.
Say again.
The master plan.
Give
a listen to that. It's incredible.
Yeah, there's a bunch. I mean, I haven't listened to them a lot lately because I do another music podcast, and doing this, I wind up listening to a lot of music, and just no Oasis just hasn't come up. But are you kidding me? When in the 90s. That's I loved Oasis.
Here's a
Absolutely
band,
loved
Donnie.
them.
Do you know The Head and the Heart?
No, I don't know them.
You would definitely dig them if you like the Mumford and Sons, Lumineers kind of vibe. They're a little better than I think better than Mumford.
Wow.
Yeah, they have a little
What are they
more
called?
The Head and the Heart.
Are you guys gonna like then hang out and drink like IPAs and wear flip flops and jeans?
Yeah,
That what
Jeff,
you're
you know
gonna
what we're gonna do? We're gonna do that, and we're gonna laugh at you wearing your fucking jean jacket, rolling down your goddamn Buick Grand Prix fucking windows while you're blasting your goddamn.
They don't make
Boston
Grand
track.
Prix anymore. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. You still drive one.
Do
I
you know,
can picture.
Johnny, do you know what band? Do you know what band this is?
No.
Wait,
No?
let me see. I can't.
The Kraftwerk.
I think Sean's taking up most of the screen. I can't see you.
Of course he is. He's 900
There
pounds.
you are. Can you go like? Can you lift it up more?
Can you just turn around so we can see the fucking tour that was on?
I don't know who is that.
Hi, Chat Boys.
Oh my god! You make fun of Dave Matthews. You are just the biggest piece of shit I've ever had to deal with. The Pet Shop Boys.
They're great, dude. They're great.
Are they better than Pat Benatar, Jeff?
No.
Donnie, just so you know, I wanted to bludgeon Jeffrey to death a couple of weeks ago, talking because he mentioned Pat Benatar probably 64 times in a 1 hour podcast. And I said to myself, if I had that stupid thing, if I had to take a shot, if anybody said this one thing, I would have died of alcohol poisoning if I did a shot every time he said the word Pat Benatar in a 50-minute podcast.
You want to hear a cool music story?
Yes.
Sure.
So I my dad used to play Peter Palmieri for me when I was a little boy.
Puff the Magic Dragon.
Yeah, and that was probably the first music I've ever listened to when I was 4 or 5 years old. And 2 years ago, a friend of mine is good friends with Peter Yarrow from Peter Palmieri, and he brought Peter to the club. This is 2 years ago, and he showed up with his guitar. And I called my wife, and because we live a few blocks here from the club, and my wife brought over he was 3 at the time, my 3-year-old boy. And right when Peter saw my boy, he took out his guitar, and my son Ryder sat on his guitar case, and Peter was playing him songs.
That's awesome.
That's really cool.
Really,
that's a nice story.
Really
I like when you hear stuff like that. You know, I had a weird situation
Wait, but it was funny because at 3 years old, 3.5, obviously he didn't know who Peter was.
Sure.
And it was hard for him to even sit still on his guitar. So he's picking his nose, he's wiping his boogers on his guitar case.
A million years ago, I was up in Massachusetts, staying at my uncle's house, and my aunt at the time was working at this it was a high-end restaurant, and they had a bed and breakfast. And then down below they had a little pub where you would order nachos and have musicians and stuff like that. So we would hang out down there, and I was probably 14, and they had this acoustic guitar player up there, and he was playing I think You Got a Friend by James Taylor.
Great song.
And he was fucking it up. You can just tell he was fucking it up. And all of a sudden somebody stands up and goes, "Can I have a try at that?" And it was fucking James Taylor sitting in
wow.
the So we jumped up there
wow.
and 3 songs, and then he just sat back down and ate his nachos.
That's you ever go on one of these YouTube wormholes, and you have a street musician playing, and then all of a sudden the artist will be there and they'll come up and join them. I've seen it with Steve Tyler. I've seen it with Jimmy Somerville from Bronx Beat just recently. And I think those are really fun to watch.
If you want to see a great YouTube wormhole, check out Too Many Zoos. I don't know if you ever heard of them. Donnie, have you heard of them?
No.
They started off playing in subways in New York City. They're a 3-piece band with a saxophone player, a percussion player, and a trombone player. And they would just, play in the subways forever. And fast forward 10 years later, they played on Beyonce's album. They played the Super Bowl halftime show with her. They've toured all over the world. And there's no vocals. It's just all instrumental. But I saw them at the Blue Note probably about 2 years ago, and just absolutely amazing musicians. And their young kids are all in their 20s, but it's a really cool vibe. They got their break by somebody videotaping them in a subway. They put it on YouTube, wound up like 65 million hits.
Well, you know what, Sean?
You gotta email me all these bands so I can listen to them after.
Yeah, I'll send you some cool shit. Don't ignore Jeff's email unless you want to hear fucking Boston and Foreigner
or Pat Benatar or Chicago.
Well, listen, here's the whole thing with Pat Benatar. We were. Do you know the comedian Pat Dixon?
Yeah. Okay,
so we had Pat Dixon on, and we were discussing the nominations for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and we were started talking about all these other artists that got into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and Pat Benatar has not been. She hasn't been inducted yet, and I just think it's a joke. It's a travesty. There's no way that Joan Jett or Stevie Nicks should be in before Pat Benatar.
Yeah, Sean.
Stevie Nicks as a solo artist, Stand By Me, whatever that song is. Get out of here.
Sean, you're right. Jeffrey has a weird obsession with Pat
dude. This is what I liked it too, Donnie. I think the fact was he hates Joan Jett because, I don't know if you know this, but Jeff's first job out of college, he worked for CBS Records. I don't know if you know that or not, but I think he.
This comes up on the show all the time.
Yeah, I know. He's just from Staten Island. He was in The Irishman. He worked for CBS Records.
You ever see The Irishman, Donnie?
You know what? I watched the beginning and I lost interest.
Yeah, he started watching at the beginning of the pandemic. It just ended 6 minutes ago. But my theory is that he hit on Stevie Nicks at one time. She turned him down. I think he hit on Joan Jett, and obviously she turned him down because she plays for the other team. But I think he may have gotten handy from Pat Benatar at some point in the early 80s.
Right?
Where it came from.
She was an authentic rocker. There was not like Joan Jett's big album.
You're stuttering as you're talking about her.
No, he stutters all the time. He's stuttering, mumbling
because he drives me crazy. Because everyone puts a Joan Jett the big praise on. I love rock and roll. It's a cover album. Half the songs on that stupid album are covers. Crimson and Clover. James and Shondells. There's no covers on Pat Benatar's album, and she rocked. Great voice.
I'm telling you, you know what's going to happen, Donnie? In about 4 weeks, I'm going to ask you to co-host this show with me.
I already thought about that 5 minutes ago.
Because what's going to happen is Jeff's going to have a podcast called "Music Is a Battlefield." It's going to be a fucking Pat Benatar tribute podcast.
No, so 10 minutes ago, I was thinking, we us three should have a podcast talk about music, but then 5 minutes ago, I was thinking, let's just get rid of Jeff and me and you do it.
So before we do got to go, you have a couple of podcasts. Tell our listeners about your podcasts.
Me?
Yes, you.
Well, I did have a podcast. It was called the Dark Horse Podcast, and I had some interesting guests, and I had Dark Horse Sessions, which was more like a video version of the podcast. That's when if I would have an Adam Duritz come on, or Stormy Daniels, or Bare Naked Ladies, Larkin Poe, we would video it and distribute on YouTube. And we probably did 100 episodes, but I stopped it, and I'm just relaunching now the Stand Up New York podcast, which I will host, and currently lining up some guests. I'm hoping in March we'll launch.
Oh, excellent.
Awesome.
Excellent. And
then this podcast, I guess, Sean, should we start with episode 1, me and you, or?
Yeah, let's do episode 1, and let's.
I like the name of the podcast. What is it? This. What's the name of this podcast?
Who's your band?
Who's your band? I like the name.
Okay.
Yeah. Name. What is it? Name this band.
Let's do something different. Let's call it.
Who's your band?
No, we're gonna change it around. Let's call it Anti-Benatar.
But I think we need to get a female also.
Yeah, the theme could be okay. You guys could sit there and talk about Mumford and Sons.
Can you mute Jeffrey?
Yes.
No, can you mute him, Sean?
I can't. No, our producer can.
Adam. Can you mute Jeffrey?
Adam is with me on this. Right, Adam, are you there?
Fell asleep.
He's
He's
drinking
muted.
right
He's
now.
muted too.
Oh, okay.
Well, this is
Go on,
actually.
we'll talk offline.
Yeah. Let's do that. But you know what we'll do? We'll talk about it on the plane to Idaho.
Yeah, and we can use the club, the showroom. You know, we can have
That
120
would work.
people there if we want to have a big band on.
Yeah, we could do that.
Use our podcast studio. We have a lot of options on.
See, if you had Jeff, he'd be pushing for fucking air supply to come into the studio.
I would not be pushing for air supply beyond this show and pushing in the studio. I would not be doing that. I wouldn't mind Tesla though. You guys like Tesla?
Yeah, I liked it when I was fucking 12, Jeff.
You're talking. They're contemporaries of Guns N' Roses.
All right, we got to wrap
It's
this up.
it's the same time. It's the same time frame. All right, listen, Donnie, thank you so much for joining us. This hour just flew by, man. So we really appreciate first of all, everything you're doing for the comedy community, as comedians and just as people. What you're doing is really a beautiful thing. One thing that we didn't get a chance to discuss, I mean, this guy is offering healthcare through, I think, Common Health Provider.
Yeah, Common Health. Yeah.
I mean, he's if you're a comedian and he can look you up, you can get tested. You can provide you with some healthcare. So that's like a great thing. Hopefully, we're right in the next few weeks. There's a loosening, and please, guys, support Stand Up New York. It's a great club. It's a very pretty club too, man. It's one of my favorites in the city. And Danny, we wish you nothing but the best. And thank you
for
so
being
much
one of the good
us.
guys in a shitty industry. Thank you for being one of the good guys. And that we mean that seriously.
Thanks, guys. Love chatting with you.
Thank you.
Our pleasure. All right, everybody. We'll talk next week. We have another great guest lined up, so we'll see you then. Take care, everyone.
Later.
Bye.